Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the EEARSS podcast produced by Terrier TV. I want to give a quick thank you out to Edna Wilson with Celebrate Remax Aerospace for sponsoring our program. Edna and her team would love to help you with your home buying or selling needs. You can find her at ednawilson.com. Bill, what's happening, buddy? How's it going?
It is going well. It proceeds with great haste.
So everybody's always asking, explain to me how things actually are. It's a complicated contraption.
Oh yeah.
It's a complicated
it's all
contraption.
about context.
Yeah.
And so if I can't explain the whole context to you, you won't understand how it's going.
Okay.
But I mean, right now we're at the home stretch, end of school. Everybody's going a little nuts.
Yeah, we're filming our last episode. This is our second to last episode now.
Yeah.
And we're filming our last episode on Friday.
Yep, on Friday, which is unusual. We've not done a Friday one.
We did a Friday one last season.
Did we?
We did one Friday one last season, and remember it was a complication too. It was one of those where there were no other options. There was a no other option for the person. So, yeah, we're that's our last episode, and we're done until next season.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll and I've already got crazily enough a couple of guests lined up for next season.
Oh, very good.
Yep. So there's people that are you're getting somewhere, and people are reaching out to you about doing your podcast. Can we possibly come on and chat with you? That's a different, sure.
I was doing some research. I was looking up because the last time we were talking about Brianna Sorensen.
Okay.
Who works for ESPN. Worked for ESPN. Now she's working for SMU.
Okay.
And I went looking for her, and we need to get her on the show.
Did you find her?
Oh yeah. She's doing some cool things.
Okay.
She's doing some cool things.
Yeah.
And she was in Terrier TV back in the day.
Very neat. Yeah. Yep. That'll be a fun guest.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be a fun guest. And I see our buddy from Channel 9 literally almost every day now.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I see him driving every day now. I'll drive by and beep the horn at him, and he'll look at me like I'm crazy because he doesn't realize who I am.
Okay.
I'm usually going very fast at the same time I'm beeping. So
okay. I got you.
I'm probably breaking the law at the same time. I'm not talking on my phone while I'm doing it or texting while I'm doing it. I'm just going fast while I'm beeping.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it is what it is. I'm willing to admit to it.
I saw today that you you had your keys with you.
Yeah, I did.
Last week, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Robb locked his keys in his truck.
Well, it was funny. It's when I got out of the truck when I got here, I remember jumping out and pressing the lock button and going, pretty sure my keys are still in there. And I went ahead and slammed the door anyhow. And I was like, well, that.
You might want to think about. You might want to listen to those voices.
Yeah, I'll worry. It happened so quick. I was like, you know what? Okay, we'll see. And I figured it wouldn't be a whole lot to break into it. Which breaking into it probably wouldn't. I mean, I could get over there and I could press the little button, but I couldn't make the button.
You couldn't get it to do anything.
Yeah, you're right. You learn a whole new level of respect for the little bit of pressure it takes to press that button and unlock it. Mm-hmm. Whenever you're there with a thing going, I'd just like to punch the window and break it so bad. I'd like to just wrap my hand in a paper bag or something and just punch the window as hard as I could.
But today he did bring his keys. So
I did, and they're in the other room. Well, I'll probably forget them and walk out and go, wait, where are my keys at now?
Yep. No, you'll remember. Yeah. We talked about it. So
we did.
You'll remember that.
So I feel like we should go ahead and introduce our guest.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
And then discuss what we've been discussing because it's been kind of hysterical.
Let's bring him into that.
So today on the podcast we have Scott Geiser from the Adjust the Mic podcast. Ooh. This is a team up event, it's like a Marvel team up. We're teaming up.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, from the different podcast universe.
How's it going, buddy?
Thanks for having me, guys. I know we've talked about this for a while.
Yeah, this is great,
and very happy to be on here with you guys today.
Yeah, you've been a huge blessing to EEARSS and everything we do. Been a great friend, and it's awesome to have you on here because you guys started with all of us on yours and I've been over there and done that with you guys several times now, and. It's great what you guys are doing. You have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You had a meme a long time ago that always cracked me up. It was John Daly and Tiger Woods. Yeah. And you had John Daly as the Adjust the Mic podcast. And you had Tiger Woods over there as the EEARSS podcast.
I think that would sum it up pretty well. I think we're on the same page, guys.
Okay.
Oh my garage, it really was hilarious. And I remember I told Bill about that not too long after that. I'm like, it's freaking hilarious.
That was our first introduction too, Frank.
Was it?
On the podcast.
That's true. It was.
Yeah.
It was. Yep.
Through Colleen.
Colleen. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No doubt about it. Yeah, it's been been a blast. But you were talking about ladybugs a minute ago.
Yeah, I heard you have some swarm of ladybugs that follow you around and bite you and cause rashes and
Oh my God.
all kinds of
So-
crazy things.
We were talking about this on a podcast we did with Tara Johnson, which will actually come out next week. And we had this conversation. Somehow we got into the fact that ladybugs bite.
It was part of her trivia questions. It was something about
Yeah, something brought it
something
out.
biting.
No,
Okay.
or maybe it was just about a ladybug in general, or
Maybe
it was,
it was. It was
something about that.
about that.
And I said, by the way, you guys know those things will bite you. They're like, ladybugs don't bite. They're
Right.
like, I've been
don't
bit by
bite.
ladybugs. They do bite you.
And
It's
I've
like-
had them crawl all over me all the time. I've
Yeah,
never
that's
been
right.
bit personally.
No.
Yeah, it
No.
just every now and then they just, it's almost like they're
Just
going,
a little kiss. Yeah.
watch this. I'm going to make this dude jump. So we talked about this with Tara, and somehow it came back up. We were still having the discussion.
Well, because it
at
got
the beginning.
Googled.
Yeah, we
It
were having
got Googled.
correct. We were having a discussion at the beginning of Rick's podcast of Rick Walter,
Walter.
his podcast, and
That was the software one from last week.
yeah,
That's what
The
I
one-
was,
the
I
one
was
we-
listening to that on the way over here because I wanted to get caught up on this,
Yeah.
in case I miss anything.
Rick's an awesome guy.
And I was die laughing
Yeah.
coming in, listening to the.
well, there was no context behind it. You know what I mean? You're like, why are they talking
All of
about?
a sudden, ladybugs.
Yeah, like
I wish
why are
Cindy
they
was
talking
here to
about
kinda
ladybugs?
interject, 'cause she had some funny little comments
She
on
did.
that.
She did. Well, so before our last podcast, we were supposed to mention this again in that podcast because it was going to give a little bit more context. I Googled it. So they actually have mandibles that they bite you with. It's not like they're stinging you or something. And it's
Right.
common where they don't bite you hard enough to go through the flesh, but it can leave a red spot that lasts for several days. And that's a very
Right.
common thing.
And there's something about being allergic too.
It can be worse if you're allergic to it, but they said it's
Right.
common that it leaves a red bump on your skin for several days afterwards.
Okay. Now realize that only Frank saw that article. None of us did.
I can
so
show it to you.
we
I
don't
can show it to you.
Yeah.
I'll
right.
give you this. I mean, don't people in the gardening, landscaping, they use ladybugs
They do.
to take predatory
Oh, yes.
mites and bugs,
Mhm.
and so
They've been
using
overworking them.
assistants.
They've been
Yeah.
overworking them.
and
They're pissed off at the world
They're just
right
used
now.
to it
And
now. They're
Yeah.
ready.
plants too.
They're warriors now.
Because there's these. I had them in my backyard. These air potato things.
Yes.
These
yeah.
vines, and they've bred ladybugs to eat these things. Yeah. That's one way to get rid of them.
AI
Is to-
ladybugs.
Put these ladybugs out there, and they take
My
care of them.
garage.
Yep.
So,
Ladybug GPT.
so
It's happening.
you
It's a real
so
thing.
you're the one
It's a
that
real thing,
introduced me
yeah.
to that. Was showing me the GPT.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that melts my mind.
Oh,
Like,
in the education world, it's.
I mean,
really
it's a
weird.
game. It's worth being talked about, and
Oh,
worth
yeah.
kind of just like figuring out, because there's so many ways that it could be used as an advantageous, helpful tool,
Sure.
But then there's, depending on your style, coming in with your classroom, it could be detrimental
I
to their learning too.
I saw a thing where they asked the AI to write a 4-page paper on something, whatever, and so it did, and but then the problem is that it's not your voice; it doesn't write out your voice.
Yeah.
So what you do is you give the AI a sample of your writing,
Mhm.
and you say, "Now write that 4-page thing in my style, the style of my writing,"
it can do that.
and it can do
Yeah.
that.
The coolest thing about Chat GPT, from my experience, as compared to some of the other new ones that are out, like your Bards and you can give Chat GPT parameters. Hey, I have a medium a skill set in this or in this writing style, or I want it to be very basic, or I want it to be very advanced, like at a PhD level. You can input the parameters that you need.
Oh yeah,
And it'll output it. Say, hey, I'm a 42-year-old this that has this and this and this, and I want this to happen. Could you please write that in 542 words? And within a minute or so, boom, that 542 words is spit out there for you.
I have
to
heard
look at.
people, I've heard people say that it's the end of the university system.
I mean, it's taken over writing jobs for people that have writing careers
Well,
for magazines and online publications. There's things where there's been like
That's
12 and
terrifying.
13 employees, and it's already gotten to where there's 3 employees now, and those 3 employees are writing and using the styles of everybody that they want and popping in GPT, getting the answers.
There was an episode of South Park
Oh my
written
gosh,
by
I
Chat
watched it
GPT.
with the girlfriends.
Yes,
It-
yes.
One of the kids found it. He's like, "Hey, how are you having such a good relationship with your girlfriend?" He's like, "Chat GPT, dude. Don't tell nobody." Everybody's doing it.
having him. It was giving him text to send to his girlfriend.
My daughter told me about this, and
it
the
was
best.
hilarious.
That's
South Park
disturbing.
is on the cutting edge.
Oh, they are.
They're like the
so
Simpsons.
much stuff.
They're
yeah.
like the Simpsons. Everything in the Simpsons is happening.
Yeah.
South Park too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
But on the last thing, the written by, it was written by one of the guys and Chat GPT.
Yep.
Yeah, that's nuts. The
I
advancements
wonder if they
in
have to pay him
technology.
royalties.
I bet. I bet
I bet you they
would
do.
think they do.
I
Yeah,
bet you
I
they
would
do.
think they do.
There
I'm
has
sure
to
they
be.
do.
Yeah.
They have to.
I'm
It's
sure
an
they do.
amazing tool, though. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's.
So that's owned. That technology is owned by a company, correct?
Yep. It's OpenAI, and it's the guy just spoke in Congress a couple days ago, I think.
Okay.
And they had a little thing, and he's I can't think of his name off the top of my head now. It's a real popular name. He's warning people if not used correctly, if technology in the future is not regulated properly, that it could be a dangerous thing.
Right.
Some of this artificial intelligence that's coming out right now,
It's
and
some
it's just
spooky
the
stuff.
start. So
it is some spooky stuff.
I mean, usually something bad happens, you find out 10 years later, oh well, we should have done it this way.
Yeah. Oh.
I think Adam something is. They're trying really hard to educate everybody and warn everybody and say, hey, we need to have regulations in place on this stuff as time goes, and we need to think properly as we're
That's the
advancing.
thing, though.
yeah,
is-
how do you regulate it?
But
I know.
we never realize how a technology is going to be used. We have an idea,
Yep.
but we never really. I mean, like 10 years ago, if they'd have told you that you were going to watch television on your phone,
Oh yeah.
you'd say, no, that's not going to happen. Why would somebody would watch it on a little screen when they got a big screen? They
Mhm.
could. But I tell you what, my kids in class, none of them watch television.
Yeah. No.
No,
My
they don't watch
my son
television.
does not watch television at
No,
all. Mhm.
they do. And that's another television,
Is over.
broadcast television. Yeah. It's when my generation dies, it's
we're
done.
Yeah. They're holding on for us right now.
Yeah, they are. They are.
My son watches YouTube
YouTube
channels. He just
YouTube.
has his 5 or 6 channels that he watches.
Yep.
When he goes to bed at night, he
My-
doesn't care that I have every channel that he wants on there,
Yeah.
any movie that he wants.
No.
He wants to watch the YouTube channels of the kids that are doing real life things or in
Yeah.
games or you name it.
Yeah. Michael in the control room
Yeah.
saying the same
Mhm.
thing. And so that's
Kinda cool.
a change that's coming.
So that's gonna be the end of movies and TV series and everything else you're saying.
Well, not necessarily movies. I mean, people still go to movies and do that kind of thing. But TV series, appointment television, watching something at Saturday night
Yeah.
at 8:00, that's done.
I feel like in the future too, like how much money it takes to create some of these new movies. I mean,
Oh,
it's in
yeah.
the billions in some
Yeah.
of these movies now, and I think the Lord of the Rings series was like over $1 billion for just one season
Right.
on Amazon Prime here recently, and I feel like as we advance, that's going to have to get a lot cheaper
Yeah.
if they're going to continue to make it, because there's going to be less people watching these movies. Because even kids, there's even data out that kids watch movies a lot less than their parents and adults. And a
Yeah.
lot of times the kids, when they do go watch these movies, like Ninja Turtles comes out and stuff, they go with their parents, but they're not really pumped and wanting to go
Right.
like we did when we were kids.
Well, I tell you, I don't know if you remember when you were in school, but like if you saw a movie in class, that was a cool thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, we got to see a
very
movie.
much.
Yeah.
They don't care a thing about
Yeah.
them anymore. I don't hardly show them
Yeah.
because they don't care.
No, they really don't.
They really don't get into it at all. It's a weird thing.
Well, speaking about TV series, I saw something posted on y'all's page today that I did not know about.
Mhm.
That they were bringing Mr. Oliphant back on Justified.
Justified.
I had no idea. One of my favorite TV shows
Uh-huh.
ever.
Oh, yeah.
Dewey
We've
and them
talked
back.
about before.
Yeah.
I mean, that was. I had no idea Mr. Raylan Givens was coming back into the world.
I heard that. I heard
Did
that
you?
rumors.
Are you
to that
also a
effect.
Justify-in? I don't know.
Yes.
I just made that
yes.
up.
Well,
but-
It seems fair.
I've watched the series. Yes, and I enjoyed it very much.
I've watched that series through at least 5 times.
And I am a big fan of who's it? Is it
Walter Goggins.
Walter Scoggins or
Goggins.
is it Goggins? I thought it
is
was with an
Goggins.
S.
No, it's Goggins.
Okay. I think he's
Yeah, Ladybug.
I think he's
Just
an
remember. He could be
yeah,
wrong.
Laterbird. Yeah. Yeah, he
Lady Bear.
read it. He
He's
read it
one of those
somewhere.
two.
He read it
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah.
It is
But
Goggins. I
oh yeah,
promise.
he's an outstanding.
Oh, he
actor.
is,
I
man. He
absolutely
plays
love him.
he plays that part
Well, I've seen him in other
better
things
than
too.
better than
and
anybody
he's-
I can think.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's great in everything.
And Timothy Oliphant, I think that's the one role he's played better than any role he's ever played.
He's been typecast with it too, which is
Yes.
fine because that's a heck of
Good.
a role to be
Yeah.
typecast for.
It's the whole Dewey. You got like Harlan County. You got all this.
Yeah.
I grew up in Kentucky. I was born here. Grew up in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
Hearing all the Hatbill. I love the Hatbills and McCoys and all their stories from back in the day. I love everything that I hear from that genre. So when this came out and it's Harlan County, Kentucky, and they're talking about it, I fell right into it, man. It was just great.
Have you ever read the
Ava
books?
Crowder? No, I haven't.
See, I've been wanting to find the books and read the books. I need to get with our friends down there at Hello Again Books and have them order those for me.
Yeah.
Because I've always wanted to read the book series from that because you know it's got to be epic. It's got to be epic.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was pretty excited about that too, man.
So
no doubt.
And from what I'm gathering, they're in Detroit for this whole season.
Okay.
It said Motor City.
It did.
It said, so I'm guessing it's Detroit.
And he came from Miami, so we'll see what happens.
Well, here's the thing that's happening now with the streaming services, because it
Yeah.
used to be a network. In network, you had to do like 24 episodes.
Mhm.
You had to do 24 episodes, and if you're doing 24 1-hour episodes, that's a long season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now they're doing more like 10.
Yeah, 8 to 12 it seems to be.
Yeah, 8 to 12 is the range. And there are a lot of stars that are more willing to do that.
Yeah.
Then I'll do the 10 episodes, and then we take a break and we'll see if it worked.
Yep.
And then we can do another 10 episodes. Yeah. So you see a lot more names that you didn't see in television before because of the new format.
Yeah, I'm trying to think I just watched another interesting one too. I think maybe it was on Netflix. It was Rabbit Hole.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet, but I see it's on my watch list.
It's interesting.
It's on Paramount Plus.
I watched the Sweet Tooth one.
Yeah,
on
it is.
Netflix.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland, because somebody went on my Paramount Plus and watched half of the pilot, and so now it's always on my continue watching.
Yeah.
We'll find out which one of my children did it.
Sweet Tooth on Netflix.
Sweet Tooth.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is you guys had Rick Schreiber on your podcast recently from Infinite Mushroom.
Yep.
And Sweet Tooth was this comic book that was written by like a smaller, I want to say it was Image. I could be wrong. Image Comics. It was just a series. They had this is the second season came out, and it's this kid that they made hybrids. So it's like a little kid who has deer antlers, and he's like the sweet kid, and the humans want to kill these hybrids because they're scared of them, and there's some kind of virus that's spreading around the world, and so there's not many humans left. There's the immune people, and then there's these hybrids, and it's such a cool series, and it's all through comic book writing.
And this is on what service?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
And it got really good reviews. There's Raising Dion. There's all these cool little series that are coming out, on all these platforms that have the sci-fi-ish to them. They're all written from comics. Then on top of that, they all have podcasts. Where they talk about the shows.
Where they do that.
And they get the actors on there, so you get
Pretty
more
ingenious.
in depth, right? And it just shows you, like, y'all are doing a podcast here for your school and for everybody. I do a podcast for fun. Some people are doing a podcast for a movie or for a crime series or for this and for that.
Right.
It's so cool watching all these different things, and they're kind of slowly just meshing together and turning into
They are.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of doing this, like where you need to learn how to edit audio and video and build a community. And I think Rick was talking a little bit too about how you have to build a community for his business, which is so true. You have to do the same thing for our podcast. You have to do the same thing for a
nonprofit.
movie.
Yeah, which is what we've been doing through the nonprofit. This is one piece of it.
And there's so much content being thrown at you from so many different networks. You got Paramount, you got Netflix, you got HBO. It's turning into it's crazy everything that's happening, and it's all kind of just slowly turning into online AI. Right. We're just gonna have Chat GPT write all our stuff and
there we go.
Produce it all for us.
The whole thing's nuts. So before we this is exactly how I expected this conversation to go. I knew it was gonna be a freaking blast. Tell us a little bit about the Adjust the Mic podcast. When you guys started it, how many episodes deep you guys are in, and a little bit about your group real quick.
Definitely.
Before we lose track of ourselves and start going crazy
totally.
Chat GPT the whole time.
Adjust the Mic has been around for a while. I've never really had the full purpose to do it for like a profit thing, unless magic hit. We were just learning. it started off as I was a big fan of Tom and Dan, Real Radio 104.1. Growing up, I worked at a local T-shirt company here in town, printing shirts and listening to the radio all day. So you had Howard Stern in the morning, you had your Monsters of the Midday, then you had your Jim Phillips, and then you had your evening show, and with Drew Garabo. And I would listen to that whole radio station as a kid for years. We'd go to their events, anything that they promoted. We're like, oh man, if we can go, that'd be really cool.
Oh yeah.
And you get to know these people and build friendships with them, through the meetups and everything. And we'd sit around, here locally and talk sports, talk about a wide range of topics through two close friends of mine. It was Stan and Jared. And we worked together. And Stan's like, dude, we got to do our own podcast. Call it Just a Mic. He had the name, everything.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, dude, that's a great idea. I'm going to go buy everything. Let's do it. No idea what I was doing. Not a clue.
Right. Okay.
Everybody was starting podcasts. So I felt like I was just one of these typical, just like everybody else starting a podcast. But it was so cool to sit down and take a little mixer and try to plug it into your computer, plug a microphone in, and try to see if it sounds good. And it did not. It sounded awful.
Uh-huh.
And you're trying, like, I'm sitting there trying to go, okay, I know how to do artwork a little bit, but I don't know how to edit video at all.
Right.
Audio, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And self-taught, the first 10 or 15 episodes were a problem.
YouTube's an amazing thing.
It really is. And I started off in Audacity. It was like a free download.
Oh, yeah. Audacity.
You get in there, and they had some cool plugins, and I really liked it. And first probably 40, 50, 60 episodes we ever did, I did it straight through Audacity. We did it right out of my living room.
It's a free piece of software.
Yeah.
I've used it in the classroom for recording audio.
It's a great tool. It's a very easy cut. It shows you kind of all the basics of what you need to do. It just doesn't give you the robust sound quality filters and things that you need.
Right.
Like a high-tech guy can go in there and just make it awesome just through Audacity for free. Then I got up into some of the better ones, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We just had fun. It was all about sitting around and just joking around with each other, talking, coming up with topics, putting them online, having a little community, and we got a lot of downloads. It was fun, man.
That's cool.
And we did it for like 60 episodes before, everybody wasn't serious about it. It was like, I think I was. I take everything way too serious. Like, that's why I go buy it. Everybody comes with an idea. I'm like, let's do it,
Mm-hmm.
We put it down for a little while, and then a friend Charlie and Colleen and my friend Joe Miller, they all kind of were like, dude, let's do another podcast. My friend Charlie Lord, actually. And I was like, man, I don't know, man. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot to do this, to host a pod. I mean, you guys have the students that are getting to learn,
right.
and you got a crew and help, and you're doing video. Like, I can't
it's still a lot for Bill and me both too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a lot.
It's a lot, especially when you got your full-time job or you got everything else trying to juggle. But it was worth it, man, because we were having so much fun. It was like once a week we could all get together and sit around, and whatever the topics are, it usually ends up on food or Colleen's love for the Foo Fighters or, Charlie's love for whatever music that he, we just would kind of riff off all of that. And then we'd start going to events, recording at the breweries and stuff, and meeting people. And it's just fun. It's addicting. And for me personally, it was very hard for me to put myself out on a microphone and talk comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
And feel okay with it. Like, it was like something that I feel like I needed to do to get myself out of my own head.
Sure.
It's something that builds confidence, I feel like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so I just kind of got addicted to it. And people's time, it gets hard. So some people come and go. Like, I feel like Adjust the Mic's very well named for that reason, because we have a carousel of people that come in on the mics, and we don't have a set schedule. We just kind of do it as we do it.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, the networking that I've gotten off of doing this podcast, the friends that I've met, like Frank and really Colleen, who's my co-host, and we kind of knew each other, but not really. Now we're so close, hanging out with each other and kids, and her husband Brent's just an amazing person, and all the networking of podcasting is what keeps me doing it. I love everything about it.
It's jam up, and you guys have a good thing you're doing there too.
I feel like we do.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You guys have a lot of fun.
We're totally different. We try to use local music. We try to find people that, most of the local music we have right now is old school guys that I grew up with or knew, and people that Frank knew, that we've gotten those bands and their music. We use it for our intros and outros and stuff, and we've made a few commercials and figured all that kind of stuff out. And now it's just kind of having fun, man. We're 166 episodes in on this run because we've done this twice now. So we've got about 210 episodes total.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And yeah, it's great.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
So what's next, Scott? What do you see the next evolution of the Adjust the Mic podcast being? Where do you guys go from here?
You know, I'm not really sure yet. As of right now, I feel like if I really ramped up my time and energy, I have a few people that have already offered some sponsorships and stuff, but I have a hard time of wanting to take money or take anything from anybody unless I really feel that with my downloads and my voice and my buying power, I'm actually earning your earning your sponsorship. We're not doing it for that. It's all about just the fun and just having a good time with it. I hope that continues. And then if the right opportunity presents itself at some point and we get that right, group of people where everybody's all on the same page and putting all that effort and energy in, because that's what it is. It takes the energy and the effort to really push it and make it go further than it is now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're doing great. Our downloads are nice. Everybody, participates. So we have, it's a good time. I don't know really what else to add to that.
Yeah, it's jam up.
I will say this, that I feel, podcasting in general, I feel you have, if you look big picture, you see social media, right? Social media is going through its growing pains right now. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of figuring stuff out. There's a lot of this and that. Podcasting has been sitting over here for a while. Doing its thing and learning and its long form conversations. So when someone says something, usually that podcast has enough time to break down the context of what's being talked about.
Right.
So it almost kind of chills the situation out.
Yeah.
Because we're actually doing social media as well.
Unless somebody wanted to come cherry picking.
Right.
Which people do.
Yeah, all the time. I'm not, Joe Rogan has a podcast. He was one I kind of followed early on. I don't listen to too many of them nowadays, but he's so big now that you're seeing people take clips and stuff and they're using it for whatever.
Yep.
And it's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like podcasting is like the next generation. It's like a long form social media.
Everybody's figuring it out at the same time too, because you see them jumping up everywhere. Where everybody's trying to pull one out now. Like, oh man,
and you
I
can
need
do
to
it
have
from
one
your
of
phone
these.
now. You can do it from in so many different ways. You can do a podcast now, and whether it's video format, audio format, the video format podcast that you're seeing on YouTube, like you guys are doing, it's the thing. It's awesome. It's amazing. People can go out now and earn an income based on their own ideas and their own driven, without having to answer to somebody other, unless you're sponsors, But you can actually get sponsors now that fit in with the style of voice that you want to put out into the air for people to listen to.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what's pretty neat about it. Yeah. There's so many cool things, and you were one of those people that pushed me this direction. So I really appreciate this. And
because we were talking about doing it together, and I'm like, Frank, you're such a big personality that you have to do this yourself. It's true.
And then he came to me and asked me to do it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, it really is, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun too. We've met some really cool people.
Oh, it's
doing
amazing.
This.
It's been
We've
amazing.
met some really cool people doing this and learned. It's nonstop learning. I always enjoy taking the voice I have and the attention and taking it off of me and putting it on other people and talking about the stuff they're doing. And there are so many cool people in our community, and really we've had people from around the world, and the things they're working on and doing. I'm always just awestruck by the different things people are doing. Like, Yoshita Patel, who we had in here, the dentist from down in Vieira, the stuff her and her husband are working on at a dentist office. You know what I mean? You'd never imagine the things they're digging into. Having Rick, that last episode you listened to, and all the things that he's doing, despite all the adversity he's faced and all the things every person has their own story and their own journey, and being able to let them come on here and tell that and tell their story and how they got to where they're at and different things, challenges they faced along the ways. That's, in my opinion, that's beautiful.
Let me add to that, if I could, Frank. One thing that I'll say that I feel like you do, that I have a hard time doing, honestly, is you are not afraid to put yourself out there and ask the biggest name out there. Hey, come be on my show. He's got the guy from Cheers on here.
Oh, yeah.
I have a hard time asking a local person, I'm sorry to waste your time, but would you please come onto my podcast for like an hour or two? He's like hitting up, hey, President
We
so and so.
had county commissioners. We had county
I
commissioner.
know.
We had mayor of Titusville.
But that's such a big part of making a podcast, move forward in a big way. And you have that, and that's very awesome.
Well, it's what I was saying from the beginning originally too. I just want to be if people go back and listen to our episodes, they realize we're not on here trying to give anybody a hard time or poke jokes at anybody about anything or jump into politics.
Unless you're a ladybug.
Right.
Yes, unless you're a ladybug. You're not jumping into politics or anything negative. It's a positive podcast where we let people highlight them and the things they're working on.
We try to do the same, man.
Yeah, it's where it's at. The positive stuff's where it's at.
Negativity is everywhere, and it's not like really when me and Charlie started this back up again, we were all about just all positivity. Let's just put, it's hard to do just pure positivity, man.
It is. You're gonna have some jokes in there occasionally.
But
birds with
as long
big
as you're
beaks.
having fun with it, and as long as you're having a good time, man, it isn't hard. It's easy.
Yeah, big beak birds and things of that nature.
Yes.
But that's a whole. What's
up with Big Bird, dude? Like Snuffleupagus, Big Bird.
Big
You
Bird,
have
no, Snuffleupagus. I'm cool with that. I never had an issue with Snuffleupagus.
Big bird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Big Bird. It's a big flipping
I was
bird,
Oscar
man.
the Grouch as a kid for Halloween.
Okay.
Ernie and Bert, man, those were the best guys ever. You were scared of them.
No.
They have creepy eyebrows.
Never scared of Ernie. Ernie's cool. I can
Looks like
understand
Eugene Levy, man.
Ernie. I can.
He
I
does,
can.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I can understand Ernie. I get Ernie, but Bert was always ticked off about something. Think about
Bert-
it.
Yeah.
Bert
Think
was
about it for a
angry.
second. Bert was an angry dude. He's
Yeah.
always angry. He had the crazy sharp eyebrows.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
something. It's like
little
the whole.
bit of a flat top.
Dave Chappelle kind of put a bad spark on a Sesame Street episode.
Did he?
On one of his skits. Yeah.
Did he really?
no.
Oh,
I
man.
missed that.
It was bad.
Yeah,
But good.
So in my room at night as a kid, I had a poster of all the Sesame Street guys on the wall, and it was like there was a street light or something that always hit it, and it was right on Big Bird's face.
Then you had Fraggle Rock back then.
Oh,
You had,
Fraggle
like,
Rock was the jam.
with the doozers and everything.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the dozers, and how they
Yeah.
would they'd tear everything up and
You
eat
had
all the
Trashy outside, and then the
Oh,
people
because
yeah.
the Doozers built the structures and the Fraggles ate
Ate
the
it.
structures.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, because
they just walked by and eat it, and the doozer
Yep.
like, man, what the heck?
Yeah, that was a very cool show.
Madam Trash Heap.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a very cool show.
We have a truck driver named Gio, and he looks like one of those guys out back, and I always Photoshop his face on him. Yeah, all the time.
That is rough. Oh my garage. All right, let's jump into some trivia, dude.
All right,
Let's do it.
You got some homework?
I got 5 questions.
Sweet. Do you have
Are
do you
you
have a
ready?
topic, or are we going like broad spectrum?
It's kind of there's some Titusville centric stuff to it,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
but I got a podcast question too.
Okay.
Related question.
All right. I like it.
Number 1. Which famous inventor and businessman known for his contributions to the telegraph and telephone industries had a winter estate in Titusville, Florida?
And Titus.
These questions, by the way, were helped with Chat GPT.
Oh, there you go.
He had a
want-
winter home in Titusville.
Yep.
Huh.
Who would
I
that
don't
be,
know.
sir?
I know we had, like Edison and those guys were
I
over
was gonna
in
say,
Fort
did
Myers.
Edison really?
Thomas Edison had a winter estate in Titusville, Florida.
Did he
Did
really?
it say
Yeah.
where?
No, I didn't. It didn't say exactly.
I wonder
what
where
address
that
or
would have
place.
been.
Huh.
So what? Let's see. Thomas Edison. What year are we talking about?
Man,
We're
would that
talking
be?
18?
18.
Well,
1880, 1890?
1867 is when. Yeah, okay, that's part of another question.
that's when
Stay out of
Titusville
this.
was formed. Yeah.
Gotta stay
or
out of that.
Incorporated.
Yeah, I'll have to go. I'll go
I don't
deeper
know.
on it.
We'll have to
No,
see.
to
that's
answer some of
very
those
interesting.
questions.
I'd wonder
Yeah.
because I don't.
I've always heard the rumors about Al Capone. The
Right.
Al Capone stuff
Yeah.
here.
I went
That's
on.
interesting too. There's
The
so many
first thing when
things.
Chat GPT, when I first got my account and started asking questions, is I was like, okay, for the podcast, I can do all kinds of cool stuff. Give me 10 questions related to Mims, Florida. And boom, it popped out 10 questions. And they were really good questions and stuff that I had some stuff's obvious
Right.
because, we have the citrus industry and all this in town.
Right.
So but it just went down into history and gave me the history of Titusville, the backgrounds, where things came from. Did the same thing for Mims.
oh,
I was
wow.
so impressed with the questions
Mhm.
and answers that it gave me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I just you think that would have been
Like a bigger deal or something.
yeah, that would the city of Titusville be talking about that, the fact that he had a winter home here, because I've never heard that
Yeah.
mentioned. I knew you were talking about it immediately, but I'm like, a winter home in
There's
Titusville?
been so many famous people that still live in or around this area that you don't even know or hear about.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty sneaky about it.
We had Hacksaw. We have Hacksaw's Jim Duggan forever.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no,
Most
Sid
famous guy in the
Vicious-
world.
Sid Vicious, too, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Hacksaw Doug.
Jimmy Hart.
My twins used to go to sleepovers at his house.
Yeah. Hey-oh.
Yeah.
Classic.
All right. Number 2. Who created the first podcast ever in 2004? And its name was Daily Source Code.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Adam Curry is his name.
Really?
Yeah, he actually was on Joe Rogan. They kind of had him do like a couple hours talking about the old days.
Okay.
And yeah, it's one of the first podcasts in the world. It was started by Adam. I actually kind of gave a little bit of stuff on this one.
Okay.
He was a former MTV VJ and a software developer. And then he had a software developer named Dave Slusher in 2004, and they kind of worked together. He had the voice part of it, and he had the software part of it.
Okay.
And they called it the Daily Source Code, and they would talk. They distributed media through RSS feeds, like what we all do.
Right.
And that RSS feed is where it kind of was originated and how it works so well in our industry. It was kind of like their developers.
Now, I want you to know that I am looking at your page.
Are you cheating?
I can't see any of it, dude.
Good.
If I don't have these on,
Yeah,
I can't see any
either.
of it.
It's terrible.
I'm
Don't
looking at
believe
it.
it. Don't
and
believe
it's
it,
a
Scott.
blur.
Have you always worn glasses, or is it like
No, since third grade, man.
third? Okay.
Third grade. So I would have contacts
Mhm.
for distance, but then when I got in my 40s, I needed readers, and as it went along.
When I hit like 35, 36 driving, I had perfect vision forever. Started just noticing the haziness and everything. Now I
Right.
just have to have. It's terrible now.
Oh yeah, it just happens.
Number 3.
Okay, number
Let's
3.
go number 3. In what year was the city of Titusville incorporated,
Well,
and what was its original name?
it was 1867.
I gave that one.
Well,
up.
you're right, but I kind of knew that because it was like
Yeah.
right after the Civil War. And it was determined in a dominoes game between Colonel Titus and somebody else. And he
Yep.
won in dominoes. So that's how he got to name the town. But I don't remember what it was.
They were going to call it Sandpoint,
Sandpoint.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
and
Okay.
Titusville won out, and it was a domino game.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a placard for it.
There is.
Mhm.
Yep. I've seen it.
Oh, did you go find it?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I went and found it after we talked about it the last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's the reason I kind of just stayed out of that one because I knew you had it under control. But yeah, I went and found it. Yep.
This number 4 is it's directly for Frank only.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
here
You
we
can
go.
answer it, but
I'm not
this
gonna-
is a Frank inside
Okay.
joke.
Go, Frank. Here we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
You ready, Frank?
Yeah, here we go.
This long-handled implement, often crafted from materials such as metal, plastic, or even an animal hoof, is commonly employed to maintain the integrity of footwear. During the
I
act
knew
of
where you were going
donning
with it
them-
before you ever got there. Yeah.
What is this implement called, sir?
This would be called a shoehorn.
A shoehorn.
A shoehorn.
Okay.
Now, didn't they? Well, didn't they have
You're welcome.
something called a shoe tree?
Yeah,
I-
probably.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Well, because when you had leather shoes, you
Yep.
couldn't like keep them without something to hold their shape.
You had to
Otherwise-
preserve the counter shape and
Right.
minimizing the wearer's contact with the heel
Right.
back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
remember
had that coming.
shoehorns,
I had that
'Cause you
coming.
had to put,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you-
most
do you
people
know-
still have one in their house.
Do you know why I asked
I
him
don't
that
think-
question?
No.
Okay.
What did he do?
We decided on Adjust the Mic to have a trivia. Well, he was already doing it on his page, on his Facebook page, and he had like a Thursday
I was posting
night
it on
trivia.
y'all's too. I was
He had a
posting it on
Thursday
y'all's
night
social,
trivia
yeah.
night he's been doing for a long time, and it was with phone calls, right? Was it
No, we did it on Zoom.
on Zoom?
Yeah.
And we had him
We'd
on the
fill it- we'd
podcast. I'm
fill
like,
it up.
man, do some trivia for us and our group and everything.
Right.
And he,
That was one later on in the thing.
his
but yeah.
trivia questions were like it was good, it was fun, but they were so hard.
Oh yeah. No, he doesn't mess
You
around.
can't answer them.
He doesn't
Well,
mess around.
I had to
no.
make it where they weren't Googleable.
Yes.
You know, because you figure the first thing somebody's going to do if they're looking at it on Facebook
all
is
day.
go Google
Is
it.
go Google it.
All
So
day
I had
long.
to go. What I would do, which I think Charlie pretty much figured out early on, I'd go through and I'd pick a topic. Let's say the hat. You know, and I'd go, okay, let me go learn everything I can about the hat. and we find 5 or 6 very generalized things about the hat, and then break them down or use some different words in a way where they're not at all giving any type of information about the hat in general, make them more generalized. And then I would take those and I'd write 6 questions and I'd put them out there. And if you put all 6 of them together the right way, you'd come up with something that made sense. But if you took one question out of context, or if you didn't consider one part of the equation, the whole thing made 0 sense.
Okay.
And even if you Googled it, you still couldn't get anywhere. I'd go back and I'd make sure.
He had mothers and fathers and children so angry. Chris was ready to argue with you at a couple points.
He was.
And it was the best.
Everybody always thought everything was toilet paper.
One of the answers was actually a shoehorn.
It was.
So then I just answered everything shoehorn in the future, so that's my little...
That has been shoehorns ever since.
Okay.
Bring that to you.
Yeah, there's been some... I haven't done one in a while. I need to do one.
Yeah.
I still owe Alan Wood and Amy some gifts from one of those she won. I still own her a couple of books.
Yeah, Angela won some too. That's right.
Yep.
My last one is for my own. I just wanted this one.
Okay.
What year was the Orlando Magic founded?
1993. Wrong. Early 90s. No, it was late 80s. 89, 90.
89 is it?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
They just had the lottery last night. I'm a huge Magic fan. I'm not allowed to talk about it on my podcast because everybody else want to listen.
Did they get the number 1 pick?
No, they got the number 6 and number 11.
They never get the number 1 pick.
They had a 9% chance to get number 1. They actually had a better chance to get number 1 than to stay at 6 where they were. And then they had the Bulls pick at 11, and they needed the Bulls not to move up so they could keep that pick as part of the trade deal.
Okay, what did they get? Who'd they trade to get the Bulls pick?
Vucevic from a few years ago when they traded him away. They got Wendell Carter, and then Franz Wagner was one of the guys they drafted, and then they got this pick. So now this is that number 11 pick work. So we really made out on Chicago very well.
So
I'm a huge basketball fan.
Okay.
So is Bill. So is
Are
Bill.
you?
Yeah.
Well, college.
Okay.
I don't watch the NBA.
What's your college team?
UCF.
Okay. It's been kind of fun they've had some good little teams here.
Oh yeah, and we got Taylor Hendricks.
Yep.
Is in the draft.
Yeah,
so
he's top 10. He's a top 10
a lot of
potential
speculation about where he's going to go. Yeah.
I was a Kentucky basketball fan for years growing up playing up there. I played for Astronaut a little bit in the high school days. But going to see Rick Pitino and going to their camps or being the high school that I went to, our head coach for the boys team was Dale Griffith. And for the women's varsity team was Winston Bennett, both NBA players.
Oh, wow.
Ex-NBA players were head coaches at the high school my freshman year up there. And then came down here, and soccer was big down here.
Right.
But Kentucky, over the years in college, it's been so hard because these one-and-dones.
Oh, yeah.
And the way just the game, you couldn't get that long-term, I love this player, he's going to be better next year. Having that multi-year, fandom, it really ruined in football for me, too. I just don't even watch college football as much anymore.
Oh, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things the reason I enjoy it is because I go with my family, my 2 brothers and my mom and dad.
That's what it's
we
all
have
about.
Season tickets.
That's great.
And so, in basketball season, that's the only time I see my parents
Yeah.
is when we get together and go to a basketball game. So
basketball families are an awesome thing. You see them a lot more up north than you do down here, I feel, because down here it's football and soccer.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to the soccer and football games. But up there it's cold so much of the year, and that's basketball season, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
No doubt about it.
Heck
Scott, thanks, buddy, for being on here.
Thanks for having me, man.
If people want to go find the Adjust the Mic podcast, where can they go?
AdjustTheMic.com. You can find me golf carting around Sherwood. Got a big yellow leg lamp in my window there. You'll know right where I am.
This is true. You do. It's true. You do. Thank you so much for being on here and chatting with us, though.
Man, thanks for having me, Frank.
Because you guys have your own Facebook page, you have your own Instagram.
Yeah, our Facebook group is where we talk at. Where we're at a lot. We're on Instagram. We're on. I'm on Twitter myself. I'm usually in the basketball chats on there.
There you go.
But you can find me at adjustthemic.com, and everything else you can go. Click on one button and you're either going to subscribe to us, email us, find us in our groups. We're all right there.
That's jam up. Thanks a bunch for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I appreciate it. Bill?
Appreciate y'all's time. Bill, it was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Anything crazy going on this weekend?
Nope. All very
Zero
sane.
crazies?
Zero crazies.
Zero
all sane.
crazies. Okay. Well, I guess I'll see you back here Friday.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I'm going to go home and go into a coma.
Dream about Ladybug.
Ladybugs.
Wake up with ladybugs all over my
Rodney
face.
Dangerfield doing that a movie, Ladybugs?
Was it really?
Yeah, where he coached the soccer team.
Oh, yes.
Remember
That's
was it,
right.
Was it for real?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Huh.
It was.
Go watch it tonight and go to sleep.
So I
Yeah, yeah.
got to be honest. Like I've had thousands and thousands of ladybugs land on me, and it's only been once or twice I've got bit by them. But it has happened. That's all I'm saying is it has happened.
If you don't dress up as a ladybug for Halloween, I'm going to be very
Yes,
upset.
that'll be an
Okay.
opportunity lost.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll have to see what I can make happen. It'd be the tallest, skinniest, bearded ladybug they've ever seen in their life. But,
Indeed.
It'll be brilliant.
oh my goodness.
I'll find the costume.
Okay, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Oh, Lord. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to the EEARSS podcast. You can find us on all platforms by searching EEARSS. We'll catch you all next week. Bye-bye.